Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rediscovering Me Virtual Summit. It's your girl, Nakia P. Listen, guys, I am super excited about this summit. And if you've been here with us a little bit, you kind of already know what I'm talking about. We are really digging deep and talking about rediscovering ourselves, okay? So, the purpose of this summit is basically to encourage you, to empower you, and also to educate you on rediscovering yourself. And for some of us, it could be just discovering ourselves, and that's okay. All right. So I'm super excited. We've been doing this all week long, and we still have amazing speakers for you. Okay. So today, guys, I have with me Coach Samantha Jackson, who's going to be with us today, and she's going to talk about setting boundaries in business and also in relationships. Okay. So, to give you just a little bit of information before we bring her on, Samantha Jackson is a certified life coach that focuses on improving the lives of men and women through motivation, consulting, and theoretical practice. As a business coach, Samantha focuses on helping others increase their revenue. Okay. And she is also currently a journalist for Scars of Survival magazine. She is a highly sought after wedding coordinator and event planner. She is also a relationship, business, and career life coach. All right. So I'm super excited as we get to learn more about Samantha, what she's doing, and also learn about how we can set boundaries in business and also in our relationships. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Samantha on. Hi, love. How are you?
Hi, Nakia. How are you?
I am doing great. I am super excited
Awesome.
that you're here.
I'm super excited to be a part of this summit with you, Nakia. Thank you for having me be a part of it, and I'm super excited to share the wealth and expertise to help others discover themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Samantha, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now give you the floor. If you want to, give us another introduction of yourself, that's totally fine. But the floor is yours. And I'm looking forward to learning how we can set boundaries in business and also in our relationships.
Awesome, awesome. So I am definitely glad to be here in front of you all today. Setting healthy boundaries in business and relationships is very important when you're trying to rediscover yourself or discover yourself, period. Um, she's giving you my outline of who I am. I am also an author of several books. I wrote the book, The Woman Cheater, Stepping Out of Hell with High Heels On. Um, Living Your Best Life, How to Live Your Best Life. I've written other anthologies with other authors as well. I've written Toxic Side Effects. So I have several books out there as well. As an author, as a journalist, I run into a lot of people daily who's really trying to rediscover themselves. Now, me, I've not always had it together. Just to share a little background about myself, even though I'm here helping others learn to set boundaries in their business and relationships and life coaching in their business and their careers. I, 10 years ago, was not here. 10 years ago, I was dealing with a second divorce. I've been, my first divorce, I was abused mentally, physically, emotionally. I had lost everything, even my first business behind all of that. And when I was going through that, it was just really hard. And a lot of people, I tell this story not to feel sorry for me, but to understand where I came from and where I'm at now. It's not always been an easy road. At 45, I saw myself in a one-bedroom apartment, lost my vehicle, my business, my home, and I was on my second divorce. And this is when I realized that I really had to start setting boundaries in my life, in my businesses, in order to maintain. A lot of times we feel like, okay, we can balance the life and balance the relationships. And it gets kind of overwhelming. And then you start falling apart. Then you start seeking help because at that point in my life, I had lost my boundaries because I didn't set the right boundaries for myself. That's what led to the bad relationships and the abuse. That's what led to me losing businesses, several businesses that was impacted that I was doing at the time. And that's what led to my mental stability, because I got to the point 10 years ago, I was not stable. And I didn't understand why was I going through all of this stuff. And I thank God for being who he is, because God is awesome. And he brought me through it. But I also, even though I had Christ around me, I had to learn some things to open my eyes to, and realizing how to set the boundaries and have healthy boundaries in my businesses and in my relationship. So, where I want to start today is knowing our limits, being assertive, practicing makes it right. And if all else fail, you pick up and you move forward. Now, let's talk about knowing your limits. A lot of times we think we know our limits, or we feel we understand our limits, and we don't see our limits. We allow things to hit us left and right because we don't have a limit. We just keep letting it hit and coming on and piling on top of each other till it becomes a mountain of something that you can't really relate to or understand. So we have to understand, we have to set the proper limits in our life, even if that means getting rid of some things in order to add the right things in our life. That's what you have to decide to do. In business, for me, I had to release the businesses. I was a licensed hair cosmetologist for 25 years. I was also a caterer, radio announcer. I was doing all of this stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere. And I also held a full-time job with the corporate world. So with all of that being said, I had a lot going on in my life, and I was also an author. So I was still trying to maintain all my business aspects on top of working, but in my personal life, I didn't set the proper limits in business or my personal life in order to weigh the options of what I needed to let go and what I needed to keep and work on. Being assertive is very important. When you're assertive to your needs, not everybody else's needs. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of us make. We see that we're being assertive to others because we're wanting to be there for others and do so much for others, but we're not looking at the fact that we need to be assertive to our own needs. And what does our needs look like? What are we wanting people to see us as and understand our needs? And practicing makes it right. Now, when I say that because a lot of times we fail, and that was me. I kept failing in business, failing business after business, failing in relationship after relationship. And I had to understand that you beat yourself up because you're wondering, why am I failing in this business? This is something I know, but that might not be your purpose. And that's when you have to understand, turning your passion into purpose is going to allow you to set healthy boundaries in business and relationships. So once I figured out that all these things I was doing was just hustling, I wasn't really setting the right boundaries of what I really want to know, as far as knowing my limits to what I needed to be doing and what my purpose was. And when I didn't find my purpose, I thought, okay, I'm going to try everything. But then I came to realize finding my purpose was what I like doing every day. It's something that I would do for free and not get paid for. It's something that I realized that I enjoyed it, and I could wake up in the morning and know this is what I want to do. And that was helping people. So that's when I went and got my certified life coach, and decided I was going to go to school, get that certification, because this is what I did. I was able to help people through every aspect of life because I had been there, done that. So now I could share how people can move to their next level and how I was able to do so. So practice makes it right. I kept doing it. I kept trying. I kept practicing on things that, until I finally figured out, I didn't stop. A lot of us stop in our lives and we say, well, I done tried that, I'm not doing it again. Or I done tried this, I'm not doing it again. And what ends up happening is We lose ourselves because we're not setting that healthy boundary for ourselves and understanding just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you don't get back on that horse and try to ride it. So I use that analogy because a lot of times we fall, but we can get right back up. And also, we have to understand that even though we fail, we have to move forward. We can't stew in it. We can't sit back and say, oh, it's me, and get the pity party going on with yourselves. A lot of times we get into that pity party, we forget about our healthy boundaries, and we just move on to the backside instead of moving forward in our inner strength to know that we can do all things in Christ that strengthens us. And that's what I had to come to realize. I can do anything with God. I can do anything if I set my boundaries. I can do anything in my mindset. A lot of times, I'm not religious at all, but I'm very spiritual. And I came to realize I had to get into a spirituality for myself to understand what was I looking for to move to my next level. So I'm going to give you some examples of an unhealthy boundary. It's when you're put in a position not to succeed by others to make you feel that you're feeling guilty about what you're doing instead of making yourself happy. That's the biggest thing. We are people pleasers. And we're out here trying to please everybody else instead of look at pleasing ourselves. Another thing is controlling behavior and accepting it. So many of us allow other people or other things to control us instead of us taking our life back and saying, I got control of me and I'm not going to accept nothing less. Pressured in giving. I know a lot of you can relate to pressure in giving because I was such a giving person. Still, I'm a giving person, but I set my boundaries for being a giving person because people will use you, people will abuse you when you're so giving. So when you feel pressured in giving and somebody's making you feel like you're obligated, that's when you have to step back and say, now I'm not obligated to do this. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. If I don't want to do it, then I'm not going to do it. That's setting a healthy boundary for yourself. Also putting yourself down. I'm not good enough. How many times have people told themselves that? I know I have. I'm here to witness to you that I have said that many a times. I'm just not good enough for this position, or I'm not good enough to run this company, or I'm not good enough for this man or that I may be trying to pursue at the time, or a woman that you may be trying to pursue at the time. I'm not good enough. And you have to look at yourself and say, I am good enough for everything. I'm a beautiful person. I have a beautiful personality. And I started giving myself affirmations every day so I could restore putting myself down and lifting myself up, knowing that I was good enough for anything and anybody. Another thing is being held back. So many times we are held back from a lot of things, from position, for things that you're trying to align in business, even in relationships. And not meaning relationships like a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife, but even with siblings, even with your children, with those relationships as well. You have to understand that nobody's perfect, especially with children. We beat ourselves up with raising our children, but they didn't come with a handbook. So we can't be held back on what we thought we did. We just have to move forward and think of positive things to do in our lives to be able to move forward and set the right boundaries with our families and our relationships, also in our businesses. And trying to change for someone else is the last one I would discuss as far as unhealthy boundaries. We try to change because people think we should be a certain way. And it's not about what people think we should be, what people know we should be. It's what we feel is right for us at that time. Now, a lot of people have their opinions. I get it. And people see a lot in you you may not see in yourself right now. But don't allow them to throw on you what they think you should be doing. This is where you have to do a self-evaluation and get the feel of what you should be doing in your life, in your business, in your relationships, and don't take that second hand. A A lot of times we're creatures of habit, and we just take on listening to everything, even looking at social media and being like, I need to be like that. I need to make that kind of money. I need to be like this superstar, or I need to be like this person. And it's not about that. We have to learn to be who we are, because we are all created differently, and we all have something great about ourselves. We just have to be willing to show that to others. So people will be opinionated about your life. People will come in and make suggestions, and that's okay. But it's up to you to take the next step and say, am I willing to sit back and listen to this, or am I willing to seek self evaluations and see what it is really and truly I need to do for me? So you got to find that balance. It's okay to listen to others, but it's also a balance of listening to others. We don't want people to overwhelm us with their opinions, because a lot of times you have to get to yourself in your little closet and say, okay, I need to work through this and find out really who you are. Again, self evaluation and what you need. In business, very important. When you do have businesses, people will overcrowd you. They will come to you calling you morning, noon, and night. They have no respect of your time. They're not popping up to appointments on time. That was one of my biggest things. People don't respect my time. And in business, you have to set that boundary of a time. If your hours are going to be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, then Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that's when I'm available. But you're not going to call me outside of business hours, because that's, again, not setting your right boundaries in life to have your personal time and your me time for yourself. So that's one of the biggest things I find with a lot of businesses. We don't set the boundaries because we want the business. And I get it. We want the business, especially a new business that's starting up. You want the business. So what you do is, I'm here at all times. I'm available for you at all times. I can be here 24/7. And then before you know it, you have burnt out. You have gotten yourself to the point where you're tired. You can't really communicate with people properly because your mind is not right. So that's when in business, you have to set boundaries. You have to let people know, I have hours of operation. I have a calendar that I go by. If you cancel your appointments, then that's putting me in a situation where I have to work around other people just to fit you in. So again, we have to set boundaries. In business, that may be not just telling people I'm a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, but that's also telling them, if you cancel your appointment without notice, that's a charge, because that's taking money away from my business. You may have to tell people and turn away customers. And I know in business that we don't want to turn away money, but I just got hit with that same situation. All money is not good money. And again, you have to set your boundaries. A customer wanted me to do something out of what I wouldn't do for a customer. And it was all about them. They didn't think about, I have hours of operation. I have things that I have going on as well. I have a business. I have a spouse. I have children. I have grandchildren. So my business is not 24/7. And I had to turn away that business. And knowing that that person did call back and apologize, because I set my boundaries. And I told them maybe in the future we could work together, but not right now, because they were not ready to work together, because I had to set boundaries. And that's okay. That's what we have to understand in business. It's okay to set that boundary with people, because again, all money is not good money. Another aspect I find in business that people, we lose a lot of business because we're not on time, because we're not following by the books. We want our customers to follow by the books, but we're not doing it. And that's because we're overwhelmed with other things. So we have to get ourselves in the place where we're going to run our business of operations like we would want someone to run their business of operations for us. That's the way I look at my business. When I go to an establishment, I expect great customer service. I expect great conversation with that person to be able to lead me in the right directions. And that's the type of business I have. I have great customer service. People don't have to run me down. When they have appointments and set times, that's what I do for them at all times. So we have to learn to set the right boundaries to do that. And in business and relationship, boundaries are a must. First, you have to learn to enjoy some self-reflection, understanding who we are and what we deserve. That's the first thing. If you don't remember anything else I said tonight, learn to enjoy some self-reflection. Learn to understand who you are and what you deserve. So that's the first thing we have to look at in setting the right business and relationship boundaries. Second one is start small. Sometimes when we open up businesses, we want to open up this big business. We got these big ideas and it becomes overwhelming. I've been there. My first business, I went all out, borrowed money from the bank, thought I was going to do this, do that, do this. And when it failed, I lost a lot. You start off small and implementing a plan for small to big, and you work your way up in that business. You don't try to overdo it because then you end up burning yourself out and things may not work out going big first without analyzing the good and the bad and expectations of losing money and gaining money. So this is what you have to look at it. You may need to start out small and don't take too much on too fast. Take things one day at a time so you're not overwhelmed. And a lot of times that's hard to say when you have businesses and you have careers and then you have your relationships, and it's hard to kind of balance it. But that's when we have to sit back and say, set boundaries early. We start, even if you haven't thought about setting boundaries in your life before, it's not too late to start. Start letting people respect the fact that you have boundaries. Set boundaries early in your business and your relationships. Even in your relationships, I can go back to where I feel like that's why I had failed relationships, because I didn't set the right boundaries. I let them expect what they saw on the outside because I was trying to get into that relationship, but I didn't allow them to respect what was in the inside because I didn't voice it. I didn't show them how to respect me. I didn't show them what my expectations were in the relationship. I went along with the ride because it was new. We have to set boundaries in our business and relationships from the beginning, so people don't wait for people to start taking advantage of us. And then start setting the boundaries because you're not giving people what they need from the beginning. See, when people see who you are, they said your first time you meet a person is a first impression. And I'm a true believer of that. So from the first day you either meet somebody in business or in a relationship, you let them really see who you are and what your expectations are. That is setting the right boundaries for your life, because that way people won't run over you. You're being consistent from day one of your business. You're not flipping on people as you go along in the business or the relationship. You're not flipping out on that person you met that you really liked 6 months down the road. You didn't set any boundaries, so their expectation is high of what they saw from you the first time. And then all hell gonna break loose when you finally become who you really want to be and how you really want to be treated. Then they're gonna be like, oh, wow, this is not the person I met on the first day. So first impressions are important. But when you are in that first impression, be who you really are. In business and relationships, be really who you are so people know what to expect. And that way you're able to set your boundaries from the beginning and let them understand what you will do and what you will not do. Also, you want to be consistent even through things you may alter. And what I mean by that, first of all, let's talk about business. We can alter our businesses to meet the need of our customers and ourselves. But you got to be consistent in how you alter your business. Some of you may out there have businesses already and you need to reconstruct and resurface and change some things around. And that's okay. Because in business, that's what we have to do sometimes. If something is not working, we need to see immediately how to move to the next step and try something different in order to be successful. So with altering that business, you set the boundaries. And one boundary I found for my clients that I've done with customers, when I decided to rebrand my business and rename my business, I send out an email to everyone letting them know this is the new business, this is my expectations, and this is what I was going to be doing. Now, what I'm doing, instead of having a sole business of being a priority for me, I deal with partnerships. That's what's new in my business. So I build business and relationship partners with throughout my business. With my life coach business, I have partners because I may not cover something and they may. Even on my website, I have a few of my partners on there. LinkedIn, the magazine that I write for, that's a partner for me. Um, Even with my wedding and event planning, and with that, I have several partners that come in and I work with: my photographers, my decorators, my caterers, my bakeries. I have a lot of partners and people that I have on hand that is building with me as I'm building their building. So it's a partnership. So when I did that, a lot of people was like, oh, you're not doing the catering anymore, or you're not doing the decorating anymore. And I'm like, what I've done is I have reliable people who we partner and work together to get your event taken care of. I re-altered my business. It was okay because a lot of people don't realize when you re-alter your business, you go with what works. The reason why I did it was because not not only am I making money, but my partners are making money. It's enough money out here for everyone. So if I'm partnering with other businesses to get the same results, but not having to do all the work, it makes it the better in the business, and it makes the business looks better. But that's just one tad of difference of altering your business, because that's something I recently did in the last few months, is being able to alter my business and set new boundaries and set new relationships and let people understand who is used to my cooking, who is used to my doing this and doing that, that I do have partners now. And I've interviewed these partners and saw what these partners could do and was comfortable enough to add them to my website to be a part of my business. So that was me setting my boundaries of what I was willing to do. I just had someone call me and was like, look, I want you to cater a party for me. And I'm like, I don't cater anymore, but I have two partners that I work with that I know their food is really good and I can refer them to. And they was like, oh no, we want your food. And I had to set my boundaries. I understand, but again, I'm not doing any catering. But what I can do is I can get one of my partners and I can do everything for you and get the amount and everything for you to see what it's going to cost you and work with you from there. And they were satisfied with that once I explained to them I wasn't doing the catering anymore. So it's all okay to re-alter your business. Now let's talk about re-altering your relationships. A lot of times we are so scared to re-alter your relationships, but I tell you, in a marriage, I've been married again for the third time in a 7-year marriage. And we've been married, next week will be 7 years. And when I realized how my last relationships went, I had to understand that it's okay to alter. We change. In those 7 years, we both changed, but that's where the communication comes in. I sat down with my spouse one day and say, look, I'm heading in a different direction now. I'm not who I used to be. And this is a conversation we needed to have, because if I wasn't willing to alter my relationship and discuss where I was going, he would have been in the blind and think things it's all gravy, but it wasn't, because I would have been overwhelmed in trying to still keep up that facade of what I used to be instead of who I am now. So in relationships, it's definitely important to alter. It's definitely important to sit down with your partner and have discussions periodically on things that you're trying to change about yourself. Because if you don't, that sets aside setting the right boundaries in order to move forward in a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage. So I know I'm saying a lot here, but I want to continue in talking about start setting boundaries early on in business and relationships We don't want to wait for people to start taking advantage and start setting the boundaries for us, because you are not giving people what they need from the beginning. So it's very important in business and relationships to set those right boundaries for you, your partners, your business. And from the beginning, even if you have to start today, it's okay if you haven't been doing it before. You start today and say, okay, write down what my boundaries are going to be for my business or my relationship. And that's where you have those discussions. If you have a business, say, I'm revamping my business, and send out emails to all of your clients. I still want your business, but this is how my business is going to be going forward. And it's okay, because people respect that. You're letting them know. They're not seeing 2 months down the line, they come to you and your prices are changing, or they're not seeing that you're not offering what you used to. So it's okay to start now, start today, set new boundaries for your business, write down what you want to change about your business involving yourself. And relationships, same thing, write it down. Me, I journal every day. Even though I'm an author and I have several books, I still journal every day, because that gives me a mind to make changes of how my boundaries are going to go for me on a daily basis, not on a weekly or a monthly, but just on a daily basis. And it helps me have healthy conversations with people I need to have healthy conversations with, be it my children, be it my spouse, be it my parents. These are people that we have to learn to set boundaries with. When I speak on parents, we love our parents, but a lot of times I'm an only child. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm an only child. So being an only child, I had to learn to set my boundaries, because that became overwhelming on top of my relationship, on top of my business. Then I had to deal with my elderly parents. And that's a lot when you have adult children who are doing their own thing and you don't want to bother them so much. But I set boundaries. I said, okay, this is my availability for you. What do you need? And it was okay. And a lot of people thought before, oh, that's selfish. That's your mother. That's your father. I understand that. I love them dearly, but I had to set the boundaries so they could not overwork me, especially when I have one parent in New York and one here in South Carolina. So therefore, setting that healthy boundary with them and letting them know my expectations of what they could get from me, what they needed from me, but when they could do that. Not just a drop of a dime, oh, such and such and such. I need you to schedule how you need me to help you, so I can set my boundaries with them, what I can or cannot do. So it's okay. Be consistent, even though your ways have to be altered, and you can change. Once you do that, start showing the consistency in your boundaries. If people don't see consistency, they start back over running you over. They start demanding. They start wanting you to be who you used to be. So you have to start being consistent and showing people who you really are. Because if you are not letting them see who you are, they're going to take who they thought you were. And that's going to begin being frustrated for you in business and in relationships. Another big thing for me is create a framework in how you want things to look for you in your business or in your relationship. And it's okay. And some people think that's crazy that I write down everything. But even journaling for me is very important. A good journal every day helps me keep my boundaries straight, and it helps me be consistent. But write it down. Create a framework for your relationship. I tell people all the time, a framework is just simply your expectations of what you like or what you don't like. That's in the relationship side. And the business side is what you want to see and what you're not seeing. That's the difference in the frameworks, but it's still the same. Do a framework and how you want things to look for you in your business or your relationship. And then that's how you start building your boundaries. One big thing I'm going to bring up, and I might step on some toes here, but it's okay. I still love you and respect you as who you are. Be aware of social media and saying things that can come back to hurt you in your business and in your relationship. So often we look at social media and that's our thing. We look at social media and we look at the expectations of other people on social media, but it gravitates into your spirit. And some of that is not good when you're trying to get motivated to move to your next level in life. So we have to beware what we post. We can't be putting all our business out there. We can't be talking about our customers. We can't say negativity about everything, because that makes people look at you like, what kind of business person is that? If it's not positive, I wouldn't put it on there. But the best thing you could do when dealing with social media is put positive things on there. And if you want to, we all have negativity sometimes. That's what a journal is for. Put it in your journal where nobody can see it but you, because people can come back to social media and pull it up 10 years from now and say, oh my God, this is a business person and this is the type of stuff they talking. Or they're telling their whole business in a relationship, and here I'm looking to date this person or marry this person, and look what they put out there on social media. We have to be very careful, because that stuff follows us. And it also puts you in a mind space of not setting the right boundaries for yourself, because you posted stuff that really is no one's business but your own. And I know a lot of times we want to vent, but if we don't have friends that we can vent to, then we need to vent on I always tell people, keep you a couple of journals. You can go to Dollar Tree and get you a cheap journal, or you can even go to places like Ross or any of these stores around here and get you a nice little reasonable journal. I keep several, and just write your thoughts and expectations of yourself to keep from putting stuff like that on social media. We have to be beware of social media, especially when we're in business, especially when we're trying to establish a good business. People look at that. The first thing they do is go to your social media and see what you're about. And if they see a lot of negativity, they're not going to deal with you on a business level at all. Because first thing they're going to feel like, what kind of person is this posting this kind of stuff? Yeah, this is their personal life, but they also run a business. And I don't think I want to deal with somebody with this mindset. So it's good to just journal your stuff, keep it to yourself or someone you can talk to, but not putting it out there for the world to see or pull up years later to hurt you. Communicate your feelings, your true feelings is another area that's very important in your life. Communicate how you feel to people in your business and in your relationship. It's okay. That allows them to see your boundaries, and you can stick consistently with your boundaries by communicating your true feelings. When you communicate your true feelings, people know where you're coming from. They don't have to second guess it or put a title on it for you, because you've already been upfront about it. And last, find balance. That's very important. Find balance. If we don't find balance, then it's hard to either manage your business, your relationships, your personal life, and manage yourself. We have to find that balance. And that's very important in setting healthy boundaries and business and relationships. Is once you find that balance in your life, find the area where you want to go. What's your purpose? What's your driven purpose? Then you can move forward in setting the right healthy boundaries for your business and relationships. So that's what I have for you today in setting health boundaries in business and relationships. Just remember, learn to enjoy and some self-reflection. Start small. Don't always think it has to be big. Set the boundaries early on in your relationship or your business. Be consistent through and through in your life. Create a framework that's designed just for you. Beware of that social media. Communicate your true feelings and find that balance. I'm Coach Samantha J, and you can follow me on my social medias with Facebook. I'm author Samantha J. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, JYNR Sam. You can also follow me on LinkedIn as Samantha Jackson. And my website, you can also, if you ever need a business coach or someone who can help you through your relationship and business coach and learning how to set these boundaries, you can go to www.authorsamanthajnow.com. That's www.authorsamanthajnow.com. I thank you guys for listening. I hope I was able to give you some tidbits of life, of helping you with setting your boundaries and being able to also move forward in your purpose in life and your passion in life, and doing it healthy with boundaries in your business and relationship. You have an awesome day.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Samantha. We greatly appreciate it. This was something that needed to be, we needed to hear this about setting boundaries in business, but also in our relationships. A lot that I had to taking down notes as well, because this is good. Boundaries is definitely something that, we all need to work on every now and then. We all need to come back to them, reset them, and keep it going. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much again for coming and sharing with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to post your website again. Guys, please go make sure that you follow. Make sure that you follow, okay? I posted the social media and also the website, all right? So make sure you do that. Again, Samantha, thank you so much. To all of our watchers, listen, thank you for being with us on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you check your emails, because we got some emails coming out, some goodies. Okay, so make sure that you do that. But again, guys, we will see you on the next time on Rediscovering Me Virtual Summit. Have a nice night, guys.
Have a good night, guys.